Friday's game featured the start of MLB's new rivalry weekend as the Mariners beat the Padres. Logan Evans faced off against Tyler Kolek, and the Mariners are showing massive confidence on the national stage in 2025. Welcome to the Dom Skeen channel, your one-stop shop for the Mariners storylines on Seattle's minds. As I said, the Mariners won 5-1 over the Padres on Friday to open the new rivalry weekend series that the MLB is doing, where they had teams with geographic rivalries face each other. However, they didn't do the obvious ones, so no Yankees, Red Sox. Instead, they elected for same state rivalries if possible, doing a lot of Yankees played the Mets and the Cubs played the White Sox. A lot of American versus National League rivalries. The most interesting one, probably the Twins and the Brewers, which was a big rivalry back when they were both in the American League. Some of these other ones don't make a whole lot of sense. Diamondbacks, Rockies, okay, they're in the same division, I guess. But, it kind of just a little bit all over the place with this rivalry weekend thing. And the reason I put it in quotations is not to even mock the MLB. I think it's a fun idea. I just almost wish they called it something else, because you expect rivalry weekend, we got to be playing the Astros. We got to be playing, the Astros playing the Rangers. I guess, that makes sense. But I don't know. The Padres are just a National League team who, we happen to share the spring training complex with. And the fact that they co-opted the Vedder Cup name, the Eddie Vedder, obviously, it's cool that it's going to a charity, and I'm sure it'll be cool if they could have Eddie Vedder there. And have him be involved. That would be cool. But they got to give credit to the fans who have been doing this for a long time. Namely, Mariners Nation on Instagram about 10, 12 years ago was doing this. That's the first time I heard of the Vedder Cup. So I'm always going to think of it that way and give credit there. Never going to give too much credit to the MLB just for co-opting it for themselves. But it is a cool idea, and I hope they do more of these rivalry weekends in the future, just with maybe a different name. Talking about the actual game, 3 home runs right away, got the Mariners up in this one. Logan Evans had a really good line on the surface. He would go in 6 scoreless innings, 7 hits allowed, but getting out of some jams, and then just 3 strikeouts to 1 walk on 89 pitches. Hard hit only 7 times. So you think, okay, he did a pretty good job, pitch into contact, limited hard contact, getting some ground balls, some pop flies and stuff. But he only got 7 whiffs on 89 pitches again. The 88.3 average exit velocity, he keeps that low. Just the fact that he's mixing in so many pitches. And again, the second straight start in this one that he uses his cutter as his primary pitch, 23% of the time. With a sweeper, 22% of the time. Those pitches both just don't get a ton of swing and miss. The cutter 3 on 23, the sweeper 1 on 22 of them. It's just hard to see where he's going to start getting double-digit swing and miss potential. He seems to be clearly under MLB average when it comes to just inducing strikeouts. So if he can keep the average exit velocity in the 80s all season, I could see him staying in the rotation, and especially if injuries keep the other guys out, and he's needed. But I think he's really looks like more of for the Mariners, who have the best rotation in baseball, the best 1 through 5, he would fall more he's clearly the 7th option. I still think Hancock has way, way more potential than Evans, who we'll talk about, his start on Saturday as well. But with Evans, just 7 of 89, it's always disappointing. You think he's pitching better than he is because the game is close, and he's seems to be cerebral, seems to have pitch ability, and really just kind of scrappy, and does the right things at the right times. But in the data, there's nothing saying that any of his pitches are exceptional. And then moving on to I called him Tyler Kolek. I meant Steven Kolek. There is another Tyler Kolek, obviously, for a different team. But Steven Kolek in this one ended up throwing, he's another 6-pitch guy. Tries to keep the average exit velocity low. Doesn't get a ton of swing and miss. threw, I think, the exact same 6 different pitches that Evans threw in this one. Ended up with just a little higher average exit velocity, as some of them got hit out of the park. 6 swing and miss on 83 pitches. Very, very similar overall profile-wise to Evans. Evans is pretty young, and the line looks good for Evans right now. Both of these pitchers, Evans sporting a 2.57 and Kolek sporting a 2.33, are going to look like they're good pitchers for maybe until the All-Star break. But I don't expect either of these guys to finish with an ERA under on the lower half of the threes. I think it's going to be 3.5 or higher for both of these guys. And with that being said, the offense put a few balls out of the ballpark. JP did it real early. First pitch of the game, or sorry, not the first pitch, but the first at bat of the game. And that was it was the first pitch of the game. What am I talking about? 4-seamer, down and in, just crushed it. Julio, 2 for 4 in this one, scoring a run as well. Cal going 1 for 3, in a 2-run homer, walking once as well. The top of the Mariners lineup produced in this one, and you didn't have to ask for too much from the other guys. Rowdy also hitting a homer here, and walking twice. He had a really good series this weekend. But that's going to do it for this one. Mariners went up 1-0 in the series before taking Saturday and Sunday to sweep the Padres. I'm going to recap those games for you guys here in the next little bit. With that being said, I'll see you guys on the next one. Go M's.